Hey guys, welcome back to BackPocketGameReviews, and today we're going to review Pokemon Moon. I opted to pick up Moon over Sun. I don't play both. I normally pick one, and then that's the one I play for that series of Pokemon. So, I loved Pokemon X. Pokemon X might have been my favorite series outside of the original games. Or Fire Red. I also liked Fire Red, but that's just a remake of the original Pokemon, so that doesn't count. Pokemon Moon, I will say this, does a lot to change the normal formula of a Pokemon game. Normally, you have the gyms and the gym leaders and the badges that you collect. This changes that formula by giving you what's called trials. Trials aren't like... There's not a lot of trainers you're fighting for trials. It's a very different concept. And this is the most changes I've ever seen them make to the main concept of a Pokemon game. I'm not saying it's bad. I don't know if I prefer it necessarily over the gym leaders because I kind of like the gym leaders a lot. But it is a really cool way to do it. It is really interesting to see them stray away from that main concept because normally Pokemon, they don't really stray too far outside of what they normally do. The trials are different. They are a lot of fun, and there's a lot of cool things that go on in them. But it is really kind of hard to say if they're better or worse than the gym leaders, and I'm sure some people are gonna have their preferences. One thing I didn't like about this game is it holds your hand tremendously in the beginning, like an insane amount. The opening part of this game takes forever to make it through. And then they're going to make you go through this school section. So if you've never played a Pokemon game before, it's going to essentially bring you up to speed. And if you have, you're still going to have to play through it. There's no opting out of all that. I'm not saying they did a bad job with how they did it. I just wish there would have been a way to skip the school if maybe you're someone who's a little more familiar with Pokemon as a whole. The way they did this game is this one's based around Polynesian culture. And if you're wondering what Polynesian culture is, that's Hawaii, or Eastern Islanders, as they're also known. They did a really good job on capturing that style of culture. I think it's very unique the way they went about it. I still enjoyed X a little more than I have this game so far. There are some cool new things that they've added. I definitely think this is a step in the right direction for them, and I think it's really, really interesting to see their first attempt at stepping outside of the main Pokemon formula. There's this new concept that's kind of different than Mega Evolutions, and they're called Z-Powers. You have this other watch now. I haven't unlocked Mega Evolutions, so if they are in this game, I haven't gotten there yet. I have seen a Pokemon Mega Evolve that was fighting me, and I lost to it very drastically. I feel there's less trainers out and about in the world than what I normally encounter in a Pokemon game. Like, I really haven't encountered too many of them. And I've made it decently far into this game. I have not beaten it, but I have made it a decent chunk into this game. That's why I'm giving my review and my opinion now. The ending of the Pokemon games is never going to change, really, what my opinion is, outside of what, the late game play is going to be. But it's kind of weird. It's like I'm used to running into a bunch of trainers in certain areas, especially since, I grew up with the original Pokemon, and they're very dense in certain areas with trainers. The other thing I've noticed is there's not an overwhelming amount of Pokemon in each area. There might be like 4 or 5 to a single area that you're going to find to catch. And it's kind of weird because, I'm used to there being several different types of Pokemon out in the woodland areas that you're exploring for catching Pokemon purposes. The other thing that's kind of bizarre to me are I don't like Team Skull. Team Skull is their Team Rocket or Team Magma or Team Aqua or whatever you want to call them, or whichever one you identify with best. It is their version of them. But they're rappers. They're gangsters and they're rappers. And they walk out like thinking they're all cool and whatnot and rhyming and stuff. I don't know. I think that was kind of a weird way to go. I get that Polynesian culture is, I guess, kind of a part of America, but I didn't really think gangsters would be a thing in Polynesian culture, and I really don't understand why they're there or why that was how they chose to represent those people. Why'd they have to be gangsters? Just why? You know, not too long ago, my wife watches Degrassi. I wouldn't have thought gangsters existed in Canada, but apparently they do. Is this an everywhere thing? Like, are there thugs everywhere? Is that a thing? I just thought it was in bad parts of America. But, you know, Team Skull would not be the breaking point of why I would say anything bad about this game. I still think it's a very good game. I don't think anyone who is going into this looking for a Pokemon game is going to feel drastically disappointed. I know a lot of you were also asking which starter I was going to pick. You know, I wasn't too sure. I've picked, historically, Charmander, Cyndaquil, Tepig, and what's the other one? Froakie. I don't remember Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby that well. I played through them. I didn't love them. They weren't like my favorite games. If I were to probably pick my least favorite Pokemon games, it would probably be Ruby and Sapphire. That's also a generation I skipped. I never originally played them. I was too old to think Pokemon were cool at that time. I was in high school, and I was just like, meh, don't really care to play them. But, you know, I grew up with the original Red. I was in, like, 3rd or 4th grade when that came out. And then I played Soul Silver. I always opted for Soul Silver because Lugia was way cooler than what Ho-Oh was to me. I think this game, though, does a very good job capturing the culture for the most part that they're trying to imbue, which is really interesting because the last one was a French culture, and I would still probably put Pokemon X up there in my top 3 favorite Pokemon games, which would still probably be like Pokemon Fire Red, Soul Silver, and Pokemon X. This would probably fall right behind those to me. I don't think it's bad. It's not the best of the Pokemon games. They did make a lot of changes. They stuck with a lot of changes they made in Pokemon X, and then essentially started to break out of the normal Pokemon gameplay system from there, which it is refreshing, but I don't want to say it doesn't feel like a mainline Pokemon game. And the weird part is the professor doesn't wear a shirt underneath his lab coat, which kind of freaks me out. And then a lot of the stuff him and your mom say, it makes it feel like he's definitely gonna have some fun with your mom when you're on your adventure, which is a little upsetting. They do the whole thing like they did in X and Y, where they give you friends, and you have friends named Lily and Hua who are going to be with you. And a lot of these are very, very Polynesian style names, especially with the islands and everything. The other crazy part here is there are like cafes now in the Pokemon Center. They give you stuff. You'll have to pet your Pokemon a lot more. In X and Y, it was kind of like you didn't have to, but in this one, they kind of make it more of something that you have to do. Actually, and one cool thing they did with that is you have like a medicine ball. So like afterwards, you can select to tend to your Pokemon. So if your Pokemon's wet, you can blow dry him. So if he's dirty, you can brush that out. But if he has a status effect, such as paralyzed, poison, or any of that stuff, you can cure him directly after the battle without using any kind of like potions or anything like that to do so. Just with this like tweezers and cotton ball looking thing, and then you'll rub it out. And yeah, so I mean, there's some weird stuff about this game. It's really good. I would still definitely say to pick it up. Obviously, I would tell you that it is better than White 1 or White 2 or Omega Ruby or Alpha Sapphire. I never played Platinum and Diamond, or Diamond and Pearl, so I really can't comment about those. I would assume this is still probably better though. But yeah, let me know how you think of it so far. You can let me know in the comments down below there. Let me know who your favorite kahuna so far is too. But let me know in the comments down below what you're thinking of the game. Also, if you enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a thumbs up on the video. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And hopefully in my next videos, my voice will be returning to normal. But thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you soon.